Well, good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, folks, wherever you are. Welcome to M1 Racing, another week with the G-Force Racing League. We are well into the second half of Season 5 with the GFR League, and very much looking forward to Round 8 here, which is coming your way very shortly. We have a sprint round this week as well, so we get 2 races for our money. But before we talk about the race that is to come, or races that are to come, let me bring you up to speed on what you may have missed last week. There's a replay of it in the top right corner of your screen, folks. We were out in Belgium last week, one of my favourite tracks, if not my most favourite track on the F1 calendar, around the Spa circuit, where we had rain in qualifying, but fortunately a dry race. But that gave us some very interesting racing and a new winner with the G-Force Racing League. Let me bring up the results for you. So relatively light grid, and we've got a relatively light grid again this week as well, but don't let that put you off, because this group of drivers always bring us excellent racing, and it was no exception last week. Huge congratulations to Liam Mag, getting their very first victory with the G-Force Racing League. I believe it was their first anyway. I'm sure they'll correct me if I've got that wrong. So Liam Mag, M1 writes in the Twitch chat, hello my friend, very good to have you. I'm doing well, sir. I hope you are too. Looking forward to a slightly better outing around the Barcelona track for you compared to last time as well. So go well today, my friend. Very good to have you with us on the stream as well. So Liam Mag victorious in Belgium last week. Very, very good drive from them. Had to work their way up through the field at the end and overtake SS7 in the process of doing so. Emerge KDs, our championship leader, came home in second, and they had a bit of a recovery drive as well to perform, but they came through in second place. SS7, though, our driver of the day here in the commentary box last week, really performed well. Came from the back of the grid all the way through, was leading the race for much of the second half. Good evening, Emerge. Welcome to the Twitch chat. Go well today, my friend. Oh, Spain, not a good one for you. Okay, well, maybe the door is open for a few of your challenges, but we'll take a look at the point standings in a moment, because you've got a pretty healthy lead, it's fair to say. And indeed, Emma Righty, there is football on tonight, and Arsenal, I see, are playing. So if you'd like some updates during the race, I've got them here on my screen, so happy to provide them. But yeah, focus on the racing here, and it's good to have you back with us this week, and Emerge as well. So yeah, Emerge came home second. SS7, driver of the day for us last week, in third. Ghosty had a lot of work to do in the end. They were a P1 from qualifying, but put it in the wall on turn 1 and eventually came back to finish in fourth. So I guess that was a pretty decent recovery drive, and that gives you a sense of some of the chaos that went on last week, and some strong driving that our drivers had to put in to recover from what otherwise might have been pretty dreadful starts. Geo got, I think, their best ever result in the G-Force Racing League, 5th for them. Emeleki at their home track came home in 6th. Jaguar Paul back with us. It was good to have them back. They picked up 7th place as well as fastest lap, literally on the last lap. So it was good to have Jaguar Paul back and scoring points again. And big congratulations to Daddy Tonk or E36 Goat, as you'll see them on screen here this evening. They came home in the last position of 8th, but 4 points for them. Many thanks to all those who DNF'd. So Xmas, BRX, M. Dorling, Srivatsa and Real Panda TV, all DNFing. There was a real big moment with Real Panda at the safety car restart, which nearly took out half the grid. And M. Dorling was one of the casualties of that particular event. They did continue for a few more laps, but damage to their car eventually took them out of the finishing order. M. Dorling, one of my potential favourites for the championship this season, but it's not turning out that way for M. Dorling at the moment. Good to have Srivatsa back with us, but sadly unable to finish for them. I don't feel as though they had the pace for last week. And Xmas, who has been quick in recent races, unfortunately for them, also unable to finish. So that was last week, and what does that do to the standings as we go into round 8? So Emerge KDs has a very healthy lead, it's fair to say. 121 points for them, and has certainly been the driver of the season so far. Very consistent haul of points and some victories along the way. with a very well-deserved lead over Marcelinki in second. 87 points for them, so they've got some way to go. Marcel is racing today, and if Emerge it does not like the Barcelona track, maybe this is an opportunity for Marcel to get, I think, what will be their third victory for GeForce Racing. Jakob, or Decives, Jakob H that is, on 82 points. Now sadly we've been without Jakob H for a few weeks due to illness of some kind, so we're still recovering, so we're without Jakob again this week, but they have got those 82 points on the board from the early stages of the season. M1 Righty, as we were just speaking to in the Twitch chat, they're on 63 points in fourth. If M1 can put a good result together today, expect them to start moving up the Drivers' Championship. Obo, who's had a reasonably okay season by their standards, but another potential future GFR champion, they're on 58 points. We'll watch for them. I don't think they're out today, actually, so no Obo this week, and they have missed a couple of races. So sadly for them, the championship won't probably be going their way, but who knows? Still a few races left to go, and we've got 2 races worth of points to grab today. Emaleki there in 6th on 56. Goat Ghosty on 55. SS7 there on 53 after their strong performance last week, and indeed quite a pretty decent season so far for SS7. I think Barcelona may be a good track for them. M. Dorling on 52, also having to miss a few races, but M. Dorling, I believe, is going to be back with us today, so we'll look out for them in the lobby very shortly. Jaguar on 41, Liam Mag after 2 very strong races, both Miami and Belgium, on 40 points. Jacobo, who is a new addition to the Mercedes garage this season, standing in for Jakob H, is starting to pick up some points as well. Gio there on 18 and Daddy Tonk on 10. Mr. Hannes on 6. Mr. Hannes, we wish you well with your studies. And I see Mr. Hannes is actually in the lobby, so even better. We'll talk a little bit more about Mr. Hannes as we get onto this track, because this is famous, this track, for a very significant Mr. Hannes event. Onwell there on 6, Spiralex on 4, Shravazza 3 and Ben Whelan on 2. So what does that do for the constructors' standings? Well, the RBs took the lead last week, 176 points, 16 clear of the Mercedes team at this point in time, but it's very much all to play for in the Constructors' Championship. Red Bull, with the strong team of Emil and Marcelinki, also in with a shout, and don't count out the Aston Martins at this stage. If we get Obo and M. Dorling back for the next few rounds of races, expect to see Aston Martin closing the gap on those in front, but the RB team are the one to beat right now. I believe Emerge is flying the flag for RB on their own this week with no Goat Ghosty this week, so it's going to be just one driver out there for the RBs. Won't be adding to that haul of points, but also I think we've got 2 Mercedes out, so Jacobo stepping in for Jakob H alongside SS7 will be expecting to pick up some points. So we're just waiting for the ready up. We will be going live very shortly. We're going to be together for the next hour and a half or so with the 2 races to come. Hey Liam Mag, welcome to the Twitch chat. Congratulations on your win last week. It should be a fun one today. Go well. I think there's a few other drivers looking to take victory here today, but if you can repeat your performance from last week, you're going to be one of the favourites, that is for sure. So where are we this week? Well, I've mentioned it enough times. Of course, we're going to Barcelona, and this is a bit of a recce for me. I'm very lucky to have tickets to the real race in Spain this season. So it will be good to get my eye in around this track over the next hour and a half or so before we go and see them do it in the real world in a few weeks' time. So very much looking forward to that. And the track, this is going to be the last season in the real F1 world. The F1 is visiting the Barcelona track before they go to Madrid for next season. So it's going to be interesting to see what this last race here in F1 24 with the GeForce Racing League delivers us. I'll get my words out this evening, folks. And it's quite sad, actually, in a way. We are starting to approach the end of our time with the F1 24 game. Many may be happy to see the back of it. Others have grown to like it over time. But F1 25 is fast approaching in May, and that's what our calendar will take us up to as we head out to Imola after Barcelona. So out to Italy next week for, again, another sprint round. Then Bahrain. Then 2 visits to the USA. Vegas, followed by Austin, is going to close out Season 5 of the GeForce Racing League. and our time here on the F1 24 game, and we get to do it all again on F1 25. And if this is the first time with us here on M1 Racing and you're wondering what on earth is the GeForce Racing League, well, you can find out. There is a link to our Discord server on my Twitch and YouTube channels. Head over there, and if you fancy taking part in this league for the remainder of Season 5, or indeed signing up for the start of the next league, which will begin, or next season, which will begin once we get settled in with the F1 25 game, you would be most welcome. So do hit that link. SS7 is our league owner. He will get you signed up, and you'll be able to drive alongside all these fantastic drivers you're going to see out on track today. You're absolutely right, Liam. This is a technical track. You do need to get this one right, and we are about to find out how these drivers get on. We have readied up, so we are going to head over to the track in Barcelona in Spain. So I will see you the other side of this. Don't go anywhere, folks. On the inside of Cox, SS7 goes with them. It's wheel to wheel as we head down towards Vale. 3 cars wide coming down the strip. All right, folks, let's go racing. So here we are, folks, in Spain, and when the sun is not quite out, it would seem, at this point. It looks a little bit overcast, perhaps, but maybe that is just the shade from the pit garages here. Yeah, looking for a good race here. Bear in mind, we've got sprint qualifying, followed by the sprint race, then the feature race qualifying, followed by the feature race. It's set to 50%, so there's plenty to feast our eyes on, but that sprint race is going to be over in a flash. It looks as though Merge KDs is the first to get out on track. As they start to warm up their medium tyres, so Merge out on some medium tyres, and our drivers will be factoring this in to their qualification here today. They don't get a huge amount of tyres to use, and the ones they use in qualifying are not going to be available to them, or will be used for when they get into the race itself. So many of our drivers, I would be not surprised to be out on medium tyres in the early stages of sprint race qualifying, and then perhaps switch on to some soft tyres for their second qualifying run. We just get the 11-12 minutes here of qualifying for the sprint race. So not an awful lot of time to get your best lap in. So why don't we ride on board with the Merge KDs, our championship leader, for a flying lap of this proper track here in Barcelona as we dive down the hill into turn 1, through turn 2, now the long sweeping bend of turn 3. Hey Monty, welcome back. Good to have you with me. As we head into turn 4, up the hill, letting the hill slow the car down a little bit as the RB comes around the corner. Braking into turn 5. We're going to spend some time with a very special driver as we go into turn 5 a little bit later on. Turn 6 really isn't a turn as such, so when we go into the tricky complex of 7 and 8, trying to avoid those sausage curbs on the outside of 8 there as we head back up the hill, now into our second DRS zone in the back of the circuit. Into turn 10, one of the key overtaking opportunities as we come through the DRS zone. Then round turn 12. Drivers desperate to get on the power as you come round turn 12. You've got to wait, get on the power through 13, back down the hill through 14. Power once again, DRS open over the start finish line for a 112.892 from Emerge KDs. Sets the time for everyone else to beat. Here comes Jaguar Paul. They're on they're on a qualifying lap here as they come around turn 4, heading towards turn 5. There is a Mercedes in front of us. Puff of smoke from those medium tyres as Jaguar Paul locks up a little going into turn 5. Then through 6 and 7 and 8 up the hill. DRS detection point just before we come in to turn 9. Braking about the 100-metre board. Round turn 10. Again, the back end wanting to get away from our drivers as they negotiate this very technical circuit here in Spain. Through the grandstand section, back down the hill, past the pit entry line. Jacob O goes faster still, 112.461. And Jaguar Paul with a 112.922. So some early times on the board. Marcellinki here in for Red Bull. Looking to get back on the top step of the podium. After what's been a pretty good season for them so far. Their first full season with the G-Force Racing League. And really adding some valuable points for the Red Bull team. Liam Mag goes fastest, 112.096 for the Ferrari driver. David T, the legend, is back. 14 months. Thank you, my friend. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And it's very good to have you in the Twitch chat as well. So thank you ever so much for being here. I do hope everything is well with you. Is everything going well with Marcellinki here? Not too bad. A 112.283. So Marcel, provisional P2 for the sprint. And remember, our drivers can get this all incredibly wrong. And then they get the chance to do it all again for the feature race. But there is the opportunity of more points here. So 8 points available maximum if you can finish in first here. No point for fastest lap, but Liam Maggs staking an early claim in provisional P1, followed by Marcel in 2, Jacobo in provisional P3, and Mr. Hannes here in P4. Provisionally, and it's good to have Mr. Hannes back. He hasn't been with us for now if you haven't been with us for a while, it's good to know that is still working. If you haven't been with us for a while, Mr. Hannes is notable for a very, very unique event here in Spain, in one of the very first GFR races here in Spain, at this specific corner here, where Mr. Hannes went off track and then reset to track. Now, for those of you who have not participated in league racing before, may not know this, but resetting to track is not really allowed. It's an unfair advantage. Mr. Hannes set himself a bit of a reputation for resetting to track. It was some seasons ago. David T, thank you very much. Do not forget to use the Hannes reset to track emote, folks, if you're a subscriber. That's going to be available to you. But Mr. Hannes is a lot of fun, and he has taken that with all good jest intended. But Mr. Hannes is notable for resetting to track in previous seasons. Doesn't tend to do it very often now, and indeed doesn't need to, because they are pretty darn quick on their own without any advantage from the game. A 112.685 for Mr. Hannes, provisional P6 for them, but very good to have them back. I know, taking a break from their studies as well. SS7 gets a time on the board with 112.603 for them. No one yet getting too close to Liam Maggs' time. Let's get down to M1 righty here on a hot lap, looking to get a time on the board for them and Alpine. Because we spoke about it, I've got to get some of those Hannes emotes up on the stream. Hey Monty, I will try to get you in, unless you message SS7 in the Discord and he'll give you an invite. He's probably in a better position to do it than me while we focus on qualifying here. So M1 righty coming around the final corners, looking to get a time on the board for them. They do cross the line with a 112.277. So Liam Maggs' time looking very strong at this early stage. So good for them. Now, M. Dorling's the only last driver to get a time on the board. M. Dorling with a 113.150. Expect M. Dorling to go a bit quicker. It's good to see him Dorling back. We've missed them for the last couple of weeks, and we've also missed Dorling's weekly GFR Digest. I know it's been a busy time for both M. Dorling and myself, so I don't think we'd have ever had a chance to really get those out as we have done in previous weeks, but hopefully that will be back before the season ends. But very good to have M. Dorling back, flying the flag for Aston Martin on their own this time around. I wonder if M. Dorling is actually going again, or they're charging up their battery. They might be going again. Those medium tyres, of course, will hold on to some grip for a few extra laps than the soft tyres will do. We've got 3 minutes left of qualifying those, so not long for our drivers to set a better time. I know Liam Magg is probably sitting in the pit feeling pretty confident with that, but bear in mind, I think everyone's set these on. No, there are some soft tyre runners are coming out very, very shortly. Many of those times, if not all of them, set on medium tyres. E36 Goat, we'll say hi to E36, so it's good to have them back with us this week. More points on the board for them last week. They were a little way back, but I know they'd have taken... Monty, so I don't think you'll get a lap in, but let me see very quickly if I can get you in from mine. I don't have you, I don't think... Oh, there you are. If this is good enough to get you in, hopefully that will get you in. So hopefully Monty will join us as well if they're coming in to race. So E36 Go. Round the final corners here. Trying to beat that 114.259. Then Monty is in. Monty, if you can throw some tyres on and do the fastest out lap of your life and get a time on the board. You'll get a chance in the feature race though. As E36 Go comes round the final corners. And do they improve on that 114.259? I think they're going again, actually. Okay, that was just a warm-up lap. They've managed to get round. That was just a warm-up for E36. We'll ride on board with them. Why not? The final stages of qualifying here. We come through turns 1 and 2. Now 3. E36 drifting out gradually. Try and keep the speed as they head up the hill. Into 4 underneath the bridge. Quite a bit of curve from E36 on the apex of that corner. Down into Hannah's corner. Turn 5, back on the power again, using a lot of curve on the exit. And this undulating course here in Barcelona. Huge chunk of curb on the way into 7. Up the hill now, through 9, flat out through here. Stay within track limits on the exit of 9. DRS open, down into turn 10. Easing on the power in this McLaren as we try and beat that 114.259. The car gets unsettled on the inside of turn 12. Back down the hill now, flat out as we go round the final corner. And E36 gets a 113.623 on the board. Provisional P11 for them. Let's get up to Jacobo. Welcome back, Jacobo. I know you've been a great addition to the Mercedes team this season. They've got a 112.099. Actually, I missed that. So Jacobo closing in on Liam Magg's time, but not improving by enough. Now, we saw M1 Righty setting a very strong time on mediums first time out. The merge goes into the 111s, a 111.904 for the championship leader for RB. M1 Righty chasing after them now. Hey Obo, welcome to the Twitch. Good to have you there. Would rather you were out there on track as we dice with M1 Righty through the chicane of 7 and 8. That's going to have lost M1 some time here as they come through sector 2. Are they up at all? Liam Magg goes fastest, 111.432. M1 Righty is improving by just over 3/10. Obo, welcome back from work. I'm glad you can stop by the stream, that's for sure. Final corners for M1 Righty. What is this time going to do for them? Liam Magg on in P1. M1 Righty goes provisional P2, and with that mistake through turns 7 and 8, that could have been an even better time than that. Marcelinki moved up into P3. All going to come down to Emil and M. Dorling to see if they can improve. Now, Emil has been getting quicker, but they don't see themselves improving there. M. Dorling improves massively on before, but still only provisional P7 for M. Dorling with a 112.284. And that brings us to the end of sprint qualifying, folks, with Liam Mag on pole position and M1 righty alongside them. Liam Mag, a newcomer to GFR, well, a returning driver, I should say, to GFR, alongside a two-time GFR champion in M1 righty. So that's going to be a cracking battle for us to watch as we go into the sprint race, which is going to be coming up in just a few moments' time. Monty, that's one stat maybe you don't necessarily need to remember, but it's certainly one for the record books. Monty has started every single GFR race that they've been with us last. So, Monty, maybe you can try and not finish last. That would be probably a decent target. So Liam Mag on pole, M1 righty alongside them. Then comes Marcel alongside Emerge KDs. Jakob O alongside Jaguar. Then M. Dorling and SS7, Mr. Hanners and Emil on 9 and 10. And then E36 Go alongside Monty ABOPD, as you'll see on your screen, at the back of the grid. So there's going to be plenty of racing. It's going to be close here. And looks as, I see VRX was attempting to get in. I wonder, I think it's too late for VRX to join us. So they're sadly just a few minutes late, missed their landing spot. Would have been good to have VRX out as well, but that's sadly the luck of the draw, and our drivers know they need to be in the lobby before we start to get going. All right, so we are now waiting for our players to line up on the grid. Remember, no formation lap here. When we see the 5 lights go on and go out, we are going to go racing, and it's going to be wheel-to-wheel action, I can tell you, from lights out to the final corner here. It's going to be very, very close indeed. I think this is the first time we've had a sprint round here in Spain. So it will be interesting to see how this race plays out. We've raced here many, many times with GeForce Racing. It was indeed the first ever race of GeForce Racing. It was the first pre-season race here, which SS7 won. All right, folks, 5 lights are on. 5 lights are out. All right, folks, let's go racing for the sprint race here in Barcelona. M1 righty's had an absolute blinder of a start. Got past Liam Mag very, very early on into turn 1. Liam Mag defending as there's a very sideways Jacobo going into turn 1 as well. We're going to start heading up the hill now, round turn 3. M1 righty attempting to pull away. We do have a yellow flag in sector 1. That may well have been a recovery. Oh, there's Mr. Hannes and Emil back there as well. So they've all had a bit of a moment with so many cars squeezing into turn 1. Emil and Mr. Hannes losing out. Monty being promoted 2 places, as is the E36 Go as a result of that. But M1 righty leads the way. Everyone else pretty much where they started, although swapping positions here and there. And you can see it's going to get very, very tight with only 11 laps to go. Round this very tight circuit here in Spain, with the DRS enabling our drivers to stay very, very close together. I'm going to need your eyes and ears, folks, to keep an eye on everything that's happening here on track, because this is going to go by in the flash of an eye. Some interesting selection of tyres here. So majority of our drivers out on mediums, but 4 of them out there on soft. So Jacobo, Jaguar, E36 and Monty all on soft tyres. Everyone else deciding to go on the mediums, which will give the soft tyre runners a lot of grip early on in this race, and they'll need to make that count as these soft tyres will disappear very, very quickly. So Emerge KD is on the back of Liam Mag. We've lost Emil very, very early on, sadly for us, in the sprint race, but they will hopefully be back for the feature, which will come straight after this one. And I wonder if we've also lost Mr. Hannes or picked up lots of damage, as Liam goes very wide through turn 7 and then 8 into the gravel for Liam, drops them back behind Emerge KDs. So Emerge says thank you very much and moves up into second place, and it's switching behind as Jaguar is looking through on the inside. I think they've just got past Marcel, now trying to find a way through on Jacobo. So Marcel having dropped back a little bit from the start of this race, and I dare say a few damaged front wings potentially, or certainly a little bit of damage, as M1 righty sets the fastest. They follow it by Jaguar, 113.928 after 2 laps. These lap times will continue to come down as this race evolves. Jaguar and Marcel fighting out for 5th and 6th. Marcel looking to fight a way through on Jaguar. Can't make that one work, makes them go wide. SS7 defending from M. Dorling, but also looking to go through on the inside of Marcelinki. So Marcel dropping back gradually through the field. SS7 now up into 6th place. All our drivers desperately trying to stay within the range of DRS. M. Dorling now through on Marcel, shuffles them out onto the gravel. E36 Goat picks up on that and moves their way through as well. So Marcel going backwards possibly picked up some damage in the early corners here, and that's gradually sending them back. We have another yellow flag this time. That one's for Monty in the Sauber coming down the start-finish straight. So M. Dorling through on E36 Go and Marcel up into 7th place. All of these drivers within the range of DRS before we get that huge gap back to Monty in 10th, and Mr. Hannes now in 11th, having Mr. Hannes being into the pits. Monty's also been into the pits as well. The Mag sets the fastest lap, a 1:13.268 for them. M1 Righty now settling back down into 2nd place as we return to the front of this grid. Jaguar now outside the range, or briefly outside the range of DRS from Jacobo. Will want to get back within that 1 second range, otherwise this group of Ford cars will disappear off into the distance, and Jaguar will be defending hard against SS7 and M. Dorling behind them. I'm not quite sure where to look first. VRX in the Twitch chat, hello my friend, and that's good news. We will see you in the feature race then straight after this. So we'll have an extra driver to join us for that one as our drivers navigate turns 6 and 7 for the 4th time out of 11. M1 Righty looking to find a new way through on Liam Mag. Liam Mag, after that very strong performance in Belgium last week, as Mr. Hannes gets a 10-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane. Mr. Hannes indeed retiring from the sprint race. So we've lost 2 drivers out of the 12 that started. VRX, you're not slow. Well, you saw that in Miami. Go well today, my friend. So Liam Mag leads them over the line as we start lap 5. M1 Righty now moving back through, and Emerge KDs goes down, looks way down the inside of the Ferrari. Liam covers that off and gets a very good exit out of turn 2, goes back through on M1. I wonder if M1 lost a bit of grip there. Let's give an opportunity for Jacobo to come through. So it's all happened in turns 1 and 2 there, and Jacobo's the massive winner, straight up into 2nd from 4th place. Emerge KDs gets shuffled back, and it's brought the other drivers, a Jaguar SS7, M. Dorling, and Marcel dropping off the back of these, but back into play. So we've got 7 drivers all fighting it out for victory here, and I wouldn't call it from here either, folks. We're just approaching the halfway point in the sprint race. Jacobo now leads on those soft tyres, followed by Liam Mag. Then comes M1 Righty, Emerge KD, Jaguar now into 5th. SS7 going with them, having a very good battle with the Williams driver. M. Dorling also right in the mix there in 7th. Then Marcelinki back into the range of DRS. An E36 Goat that is there as well before we get that big gap back to Monty. Remember, points for the top 8 finishing positions in the sprint race, and it's looking good for Jacobo right now, but they will come under the pressure from Liam as they go into turn 1, and then M1 Righty's going with them as well. The lead swaps again, the Ferrari back into the lead of this race on lap 6. Jacobo now defending from Emerge KDs. We get down to Jaguar who's got SS7 all over their gearbox as we head up towards turn 4. We round turn 4. That's a very wide line from SS7 as they try and find a way through on Jaguar. Jaguar knows how to stay in a race here, even in these sprints. They will be biding their time, trying to find a way through on Emerge. And just one mistake from any one driver could shuffle them right to the back of this pack. And one brilliant move could put you in the lead of this race. We're on board with SS7 as we follow the train of cars in front of us. We navigate round turn 10. The dirty air of the cars in front will be disturbing the front end of SS7's car here, but they get round turn 12. Now we go through turn 13. Then 14, where there has been a notorious bump on the exit in previous versions of this game. That looks to be avoided for our drivers at this point. And we've got Marcelinki trying to find a way through On M. Dorling moves up into 7th. So the recovering Marcel through on M. Dorling and now after SS7. M1 Righty now leads on lap 7. You tell me in the Twitch chat who on earth is going to win this one. As SS7 gets close once again to the rear end of Jaguar-Pour. They just cannot find a way past this strong drive from Jaguar-Pour. VRX is predicting a win for Liam, and I think it's all going to come down to who is second at the start of the last lap. I think you don't want to be dragging everyone else around with you. You're going to get absolutely swamped either into turn 1 or into turn 10. So our drivers will have an element of strategy going on here. And Marcel is really recovering quite well now and pressurising SS7 as we come round turn 14. So we start lap 8 of 11. I told you this was going to go quickly, folks. As Liam moves back into the Jacobo, goes through on M1 Righty. This all bunches up the cars behind as everyone battles for position here. No one able to get away. And is that SS7 pushing in the back of Jaguar-Pour? It looks as though SS7 just got too close to Jaguar-Pour. That's turned Jaguar-Pour around. And that has taken both SS7 and Jaguar-Pour out of the running here for victory. So we head back up the running order here. We were with SS7 Jaguar-Pour as that happened. I don't know if that could have been some lag from Jaguar-Pour or just a mistake from SS7, which would be uncharacteristic, but not entirely unknown, I guess. But that's got Jaguar-Pour and SS7 out of the running, and certainly a bit of damage for some of those drivers. So it's now a battle between Liam Mag, Jacobo, M1 Righty, Emerge, Marcel and M. Dorling for victory here in Spain. I imagine those soft tyres of Jacobo are starting to feel the pain a little bit. And indeed, Jacobo seems to have a lot less grip than M1 Righty behind them and Liam Mag in front. So M1 now needs to get past Jacobo. That red light blinking on the rear end of the Mercedes as they attempt to charge up that Mercedes. It has allowed Jacob to get back onto the rear end of the Ferrari. They've dragged M1 Righty and Emerge KDs with them. Then comes Marcel, followed by M. Dorling. E36 go 4.5 seconds back with a track limits penalty there. Then comes SS7 and Jaguar-Pour. Who's going to be brave and make a move early, and who's going to wait to the final corners here? We get briefly a yellow flag for Sector 2. That is Monty in the gravel. We saw them there at the corner of M1 Righty's cockpit, ghosted in the gravel. So Liam leads the way. Drivers charging up their batteries as they break into turn 10. And right now, VRX's prediction of a Liam Mag win is looking pretty strong at the moment. And Liam's had an excellent exit out of turn 12 there. Really pulls out a gap on those soft tyres from Jacobo. And I think M1 Righty may now be thinking that they've got to get past. It all depends how much speed Jacobo has got left. That straight line speed. Mercedes looks very, very strong as they close up very, very close behind Liam Mag. Not closing quite quick enough to make a move. And I think this, in these tight, twisty parts of the circuit, we'll see M1 try and find a way through on the Mercedes if they can. But it's a good drive from Jacobo so far. M1 Righty through on Jacobo. We thought they might have to make that move sooner rather than later if they want to take victory here. So we're fast approaching the final lap here of the sprint race. Lap 10 of 11. Liam Mag leads, but only just from M1 Righty. M1 is bringing Jacobo, Emerge, Marcelinki and M. Dorling with them. Emerge starting to drop off the back of Jacobo a little here, but will close down with the benefit of DRS on the next round. And there is that bump. There is that bump. We've seen it live on the stream, folks. What a crazy reaction by the game to M1 Righty's car there. Massive disadvantage for M1 given their position in the race. They did incredibly well to actually keep the car heading in the right direction. So M1 survives, but now defending from Emerge KDs. Liam leads the way. Jacobo has done their best to try and stay with them, but I don't think they're going to have the grip. M1 Righty massively disadvantaged. And that's going to be one hell of a clip for the stream later on. So M1, I thank you for that, but that was not what you intended at all. Emerge KDs now right on the rear end, trying to find a way. We're trying to find a way through. Marcelenko is there. Learmag is pulled right out in front, over a second clear. They've done what they needed to do. Learmag is going to take victory here in the sprint race. Can M1 Righty find a way back through on Jacobo? Could it be? Can Emerge find a way through? I think everyone's going to have enough power to hang on to their current positions here. And Learmag comes over to win the sprint race. Then comes Jacobo. Then comes M1 Righty, followed by Emerge KDs, Marcelinki and M Dorling. What a cracking sprint race. We had all manner of things going on there. Some game related, some perhaps driver related. But it's victory for Learmag and Ferrari. 2 races in a row for Learmag. Very strong performance from them. Not a bad drive from Jacobo. I think M1 Righty thought that they had second place and potentially a shout for victory. We'll go back and take a clip of the flying M1 Righty coming out of turn 13, followed by Emerge KDs in 4th. Marcel, after dropping back through the field, finishes in 5th, so good recovery eventually for Marcel. He got a hold of that Red Bull, wrestled that into 5th place, and M Dorling came home in 6th. E36 Goat's going to pick up a couple of points here, as is Jaguar Paul. SS7 sadly outside those points, and Monty there in 10th. Monty, you did finish. And an apology from SS7 to Jaguar Paul in the driver's chat, and I think that might well be a reported incident later on, but SS7 apologising to Jaguar Paul, so it did look like driver error. So Learmag is victorious here in the sprint race. Remember, another race to go yet, folks, so don't go anywhere. Jacobo finishes 2nd. M1 Righty eventually comes home in 3rd, probably flying through the air. Emerge KD's in 4th. Marcelinki in 5th. M Dorling finished in 6th. E36 Goat in 7th. And Jaguar Paul in 8th. SS7 and ABOPD, or Monty as we more affectionately know them, in 9th and 10th. Mr. Hannes and Emil sadly DNFing, but they will be back for the feature race, as will VRX, I believe, as well. M1, I see in the driver's chat, just can't quite believe their luck, but the fact we actually saw it on the stream was quite incredible. Sometimes you only see it as the driver, but the fact that we actually caught it on the stream was quite remarkable. And will be quite some image for us, I dare say. And now, folks, just to make things interesting, as qualifying starts for the feature race, so does the rain here in Spain. So it's going to be a mildly damp or moist qualifying here. We just get the one qualifying session as well. So whether or not this rain will stick, it does say 73% on my timing screen. So it's going to be light rain, I think, for the foreseeable future here in qualifying. Whether or not that translates into the race, only time will tell. All our drivers checking their setups and starting to think about coming out. I dare say everyone's going to be out on intermediates indeed. Marcel is doing that, as Monty is the first driver out on track for Sauber. As the rain actually looks quite heavy, so it will look reasonably light in the... And in fact, Xmas VRX joining us in the pit garages, which is excellent. So yeah, this looks a lot wetter than it did in the pit lane. So it's going to be tricky qualifying for our drivers here. And as Monty is discovering, when you're very used to a dry track and then suddenly it's as wet as this, it's going to focus the mind somewhat. Monty predicted in the Twitch chat that they'll be on provisional pole, and to be fair to them, if they are the first to set a qualifying time here, they will be on provisional pole. It will depend for how long, only time will tell. So Marcel Emil, both Red Bulls out, as is the Sauber. Mercedes out, and Jaguar Poor looking for a bit of a sighter lap. I wonder if our drivers will fuel for a few laps and see if they can put in a number of different laps here in qualifying. We've got 16 minutes left to go. So plenty of time for our drivers to get an eye in. We're really interested to know if I can hear from the drivers, either in the Twitch chat or in the Discord, if it's actually going to be wet at all for the race itself, because that will influence what setups they put on. Of course, here during qualifying, they won't be wanting to put a wet quali setup on if it's going to be dry in the race. So Monty is on a lap here. Could be the first to get a time on the board, so let's ride on board with them. They did at least finish in the sprint race. Sadly, no points for them, but it was 10th. As they search for grip here on a slippery track here in Spain. Through that infamous turn 5. Now into 7. Up the hill, through 8. Steady as she goes from Monty here. Cannot carry the speed that they normally would in the dry through 9. No DRS either in these damp conditions here, so it's all going to be done on engine power and grip and driver ability. So we come through 11, now 12. This will be ridiculously slippery in these conditions. 2 more corners for Monty to navigate here. Turn 13 we're through. Turn 14 left to go. Back on the power, we come over the start-finish line, and Monty, you were provisional pole for about 1/10 of a second with a 125.884, but Emerge KDs was right behind you with a 122.818, and Emil, our Rainmaster, goes faster still with a 122.441. So we'll let Monty focus on navigating this slippery track here. So Emil, with a very good start to their qualifying here. Emil knows their way in the wet. There's something about their driving style which certainly suits these conditions. It seems to be suiting Jaguar Poor also with a 122.341. Jaguar Poor takes provisional pole. How can Marcel go? They have already invalidated on this lap. Let's get down to M. Dorling as Liam Mag goes fastest, a 121.681. Expect these times to come down, especially as a drier line starts to appear on track. VRX, you'd have to sing louder. I couldn't hear it from where I am, but congratulations, because I don't know any of those words. So it's brilliant. Very, very good. So M. Dorling setting up for their first qualifying lap. E36 Goat trying to get a time on the board here. The times are beat right now, 121.681. Liam Maga Victor from the sprint race holds that time. They'll want the Sauber and Monty to get out of their way as E36 goes a little bit wide through 10, but manages to keep it within track limits. Now, Virix, I know a few. I dare say there's a few songs I know you won't, but that may be an age thing. So E36 Goat comes around the final corners in their McLaren, which is very sideways at times, but hopefully they'll get a time on the board, and they do, a 123.716. Let's get to M1 righty here. So M1 trying to navigate a Barcelona track which has not been kind to them, not in the sprint race, and nor indeed in the last time out. They were fighting with MAC-T and sadly had a coming together on the early laps of the feature race in that one. M1 did eventually recover to finish in the points, but it was not where they were hoping to be. And then we saw that incredible, crazy jump from their car in the sprint race, which sadly meant they weren't able to challenge for victory. But I expect them to go well here. So M1 coming around the final corners here. Oh, and invalidates on the on through turn 13. So M1 pushing hard, but sadly goes beyond track limits. Will have to try again. We saw M. Dorling warming up those intermediate tyres. So M Dorling pushing now. to get a time on the board, as Xmas, VRX and SS7 are out there looking to get a time on the board also. Quite a few drivers without a time on the board yet. We've got 11 minutes of qualifying left to go. M. Dorling is one of those drivers without a time yet, but they are about to get one on the board if they can keep this Aston Martin within track limits. And we come over the start-finish line. M. Dorling gets a 121.913, very respectable from the Aston Martin driver, gives them provisional P2. And Monty saying goodbye to us, so recognising their pace isn't quite there. Well, Monty, thank you for stopping by and saying hello. It's very good to have you with us. Stay and watch the stream. You're going to watch a cracking race here between some of the best drivers in G-Force Racing history. Even though we've only got about 12, 13 drivers out there, I can tell you it's going to be very, very close, particularly at the front of this race. SS7 looking to redeem themselves from a bit of an accident, it's fair to say, in the sprint race with Jaguar. Ruined both their race and Jaguar, it's fair to say, but SS7 looking to make amends and sets a 122.193 at this stage in qualifying. Now, Liam Mag in the Twitch chat, you say you love it when it rains. Are you being sarcastic or is that true? Because I can tell from that lap time, I reckon you must be loving it out there right now. That 121.614 is looking strong. Many of our drivers, I think, are going to say they hate the rain. Another driver that does enjoy the rain is Emil. They set that early time there. We'll see if they can go a little bit quicker in the next part of qualifying. I also love it when it rains because it mixes things up for us and it also makes you lot as drivers think just that little bit harder. So SS7 did have a time on the board, as does their teammate Jacobo, pretty much identical times there. M1 righty trying again, but it has invalidated again. Xmas is warming up those inters. Mr. Hanna is not setting a time yet, nor has Master Linky. Well, welcome to the Twitch chat. You may well be able to get in there. You know who to ask, but I don't see any necessary reason why not. I know Xmas has also just done that. So you've got 8.5 minutes or so, my friend, to get in there. And I know your teammate of Emerge KDs will be delighted to have your company. So we may well be replacing with Monty with Goat Ghosty, which is not a bad replacement from a viewer's perspective, I can tell you. So best wishes to Monty, who departs, and thank you for the good wishes also in the driver's chat, Monty. We wish you a very happy Easter. So M1 righty is trying to get a time on the board. They've had a couple of attempts at it. Can they actually make this one stick? We'll ride on board with them through the Hannies corner of turn 5. Back on the power as we negotiate turns 7 and 8, then through 9 on that Alpine is all over the place, but you could see how it was breaking up for us on the stream here. I think M1 has got some connectivity or code issues, it would seem, because that Alpine and that experience is not what I think anybody would expect from how their car to behave. But M1, to their credit, is pressing on, has not invalidated yet as they come round that dreadful turn 13, which sent their car flying in the sprint race. And M1 righty, just to prove everyone wrong, sets a 121.331. And I think at this point M1 righty's nailed on for driver of the day just for managing to keep that Alpine on track. Let's get to Marcel, who is trying to get a time on the board. Xmas did have a time, a 144.755, but they will definitely go faster than that. Will we see Goat Ghosty join us in qualifying very shortly? We keep our fingers crossed for another RB to head out onto the track. We will see. The Mag goes fastest, 120.835. First drive into the 1 minute 20s. And you can see it's even breaking up on my stream now. So the EA server's having some fun and games with us here today, folks. It's usually very, very reliable and has been for pretty much the last season and a half, but it's not behaving here today. And maybe it's the Spain track, which has been notorious with code issues in recent patches. But Marcel has got a time on the board on a 121.101, puts them provisional P2. Marcel was purple in sector 2 there, so very good lap from them. And Emil, I saw them improving, so they were purple in sector 1. And Emil, their Red Bull teammate, takes provisional P3. Wonder if M1 Righty is going again. Let me bring up the lap data so we can see if those sector times are improving. And Ghosty is in and out on an out lap, so we get an extra drive. And Dave Hummel is in. Welcome to both of those drivers. Right, we're going to have a proper race here in the feature race. So glad those drivers could eventually join us. So Ghosty is with us. Dave Hummel is with us. Ghosty, a potential GFR champion as well, if they can keep it together. Consistency's been letting them down in recent weeks. But M1 Righty has got a time on the board, 121.331. Let's get to Ghosty. We welcome them back for another Wednesday with the GeForce Racing League. Let's see what a sort of time they can get. Obviously early stages for Goat here, just diving in to the game. M Dorling provisional P3 right now, 121.118, demotes Emil to 4th, and M1 Righty drops to 5th. The 120s, I think, is got to be the target for our drivers if they want to be at the sharp end of the grid for the feature race. Let's ride on board with the RB of Goat Ghosty. Their teammate emerged KDs with a 121.568. M1 Righty goes faster, 120.611. That's a massive improvement for M1 Righty. They take provisional pole. What can Goat Ghosty do? So Liam's telling us that it may well dry up, so there could well be a lot faster times yet to come here. And indeed, the rain forecast on my telemetry screen is dropping all the time. I think it's going to stop raining any moment now, so final minutes of qualifying could be very, very dry. Let's just see how warm it is in Spain right now. Air temperature of 29 degrees, so it's warm enough for this rain to evaporate pretty quickly, but how much it will dry in the final few minutes here is anyone's guess. So bear in mind, Goat Ghosty does not have a time on the board yet. As VRX is complaining about setups in the wet, and I feel your pain, VRX. 121.863 for Goat Ghosty. They'll want to improve on that, and they have got a little bit of time. Charge up their battery. Hopefully they've got enough fuel to go one more time. And bear in mind that Goat probably set that lap on quite a large tank of fuel, so we'll watch for Goat to go a little bit fast. Let's get to Jaguar, who unfortunately had that coming together with SS7 when both cars were running pretty well in the sprint race. The Jaguar trying to move up the starting order here for the feature through turn 7. Keep an eye on the sector times, folks, top right corner of your screen. Back on the power. It's turn 10. Improving by 6/10 through sector 2. So Jaguar going faster here. Remember, M1 Righty, fastest of anyone right now, 120.611. But if Liam's prediction is right, these times will tumble. Final corner. Over the start-finish line. 121.335. Not a bad time from Jaguar. Not too far off those around them. E36 Goat is on a warm-up lap there. SS7 is improving by just over a tenth. 121.843 for them is their time currently. We're looking to get a bit closer to Emerge and E36 Goat in front of them. That time from E36 Goat is not bad by their standards. Half a second up now from SS7 through sector 2. Improving all the time. And all of our drivers out one last time, it would seem, in the final minute and a half of qualifying here for the feature race. Round the final corner for SS7. How much have they improved? 121.066, provisional P3 for SS7. These times continue to tumble. Liam Mag, victorious in the sprint race, victorious in Belgium last week. Can they make it 3 races in a row here in Spain? Well, they've got to take pole position first. That's the first target, as that back end of that Ferrari is very slippery. Liam must have a dry setup on, which perhaps gives us an indication. You will see Liam's prediction is absolutely right. Look how quickly it's drying up here, folks. The person who goes over that start-finish line with just a second or so left to spare is going to have the best of these conditions here. Maybe that's going to be M1 righty. We'll see. Liam is clearly struggling a little bit and is still on those intermediate tyres. We'll see if anyone's been brave enough. Now everyone's stuck on Inters. Okay, so no one's decided to go to soft, or for the slicks, I should say, for the final part of qualifying. So everyone's doing this on Inters. Turn 12 done for Liam. Now 13. 14 left to go. Can Liam move into pole? They can indeed. A 119.517. E36 Goat in provisional P4. Xmas goes fastest. Their fastest time, 120.435. M1 Righty is improving massively as well. Oh, now is that them or is that me? This is the game having real fun and games with us. Today, we look like we might be heading off into the scenery, but M1 Righty, fortunately for us, is actually pointing in the right direction. M1 Righty trying to improve, trying to steal pole position. Emerge KDs is in P2. Can M1 Righty do anything about it? Looks like they've got a lot of speed. Can into the 118s for M1, a 118.916, and what a time to do it. Let's get down to who else is yet to set a time. Emil has invalidated. M. Dorling is improving. Where's M. Dorling going to finish? P4 for M. Dorling. E36 Go is not improving. Marcel is improving massively, but that's a 121.101 for them. So, wow, it's all happened there at the end of qualifying. Ghosty finishes there in 5th place, so in qualifying. So, not a bad lap time for Goat, considering they've only just turned up and jumped into the car. So goodness only knows what sort of setup Goat has on their car. They won't have had the top preparation that others had. So M1 with an absolute blinder of a qualifying time has pole position. So Liam, yeah, I think you're right. You did just get your timing just slightly out, and M1 Righty got the best of those ever drying conditions there, and M1 takes pole position, but Liam there in P2 will be alongside them. So the start of this race, the grid are reversed from the sprint, sees M1 Righty on pole position, Liam Mag alongside them in second. Then comes Emerge KDs alongside M. Dorling in a position I'm much more expected to see M. Dorling in. Then comes Goat Ghosty in 5th alongside Xmas, as they both drivers join us midway through qualifying. Then E36 Goat, great qualifying from them alongside SS7. Marcelinki in 9th, Jakob O in 10th. They're a long way down by their standards. Then comes Emil, Jaguar Paul, Monty we will not see, but Dave Hommel will be out there in 14th. David T in the Twitch chat, absolutely right. M1 Righty, what a qualifying lap from them, and timed it to perfection. Now, we keep our fingers crossed for them that the game is going to play ball. If any of you were watching during the sprint, we saw that quite dramatic fly through the air from the Alpine as it hit a curb, and the game decided to have some fun with its own physics. So we keep our fingers crossed for M1. They don't get that experience, particularly if they're fighting for the win here. It looks dry for the start of the race, so we won't have a formation lap. Remember, the lights come on, they go out, we go racing. For round 8, the feature race of GeForce Racing Elite League. Go for it, VRX. Late championship charge. It could be on the cards. It could be on the cards. Go well today. Let me know, any of the drivers listening to this, if it is going to be wet or dry during the race. It certainly looks dry right now, and it looks dry on my timing screen, although that has yet to change. Football update for anybody who is interested, because we had them last week. Arsenal were leading Crystal Palace 2-1 in the Premier League. And if you're a follower of the women's football, Chelsea women are beating Crystal Palace 4-0. So that is my public service announcement for all you football fans out there for today. Dry for the full race, says VRX. Thank you very much, my friend. I appreciate that update. So it's going to be dry for the full race. That will keep our drivers focused on the racing only and their dry tyre strategies. So M1 really looks in the box seat for the feature race here, but Liam Mag will certainly have something to say about it. But bear in mind, our championship leader, Emerge KDs, is right behind the leading two here. And we expect to see something similar from the sprint race, with our drivers staying very closely together. Turn 1, I think, is going to be critical for our drivers on the first lap. I think most will be a little bit more conservative as we wait for ours. We've got a long hold here, folks, so I wonder if the game has got some issues. And that's perhaps holding us up a little bit here, but we are waiting. Yeah, P6 to disconnecting coming. Well, let's keep our fingers crossed that's not the case, VRX. We've got the lights on. All right, folks, let's go racing. For the feature race here of GeForce Racing, and M1 Righty's got another good start, but so has Liam Mag. But M1 has got in front of Liam, defending their line as Emerge looks to go round the outside, and then there looks to be a tap on the back of Liam Mag, and Liam Mag is facing the wrong way very briefly. He managed to hang on to that. So good save. Xmas takes advantage, moves up into third. Liam has dropped down into fourth, so they'll have to work their way through. Looks like a good start from E36 Goat as well. They're running in sixth, but they've got Goat Ghosty around their outside into turn 5 on the inside of the McLaren. Goat trying to find a way past early on. M Dorling's not had a bad start. They're holding on to 5th place there, and SS7 now through on E36 Goat. So SS7 taking advantage early on. Then comes Jaguar Paw, bringing Marcelinki with them, followed by Jacobo, Emil in 12th, Dave Hommel up a place already into 13th. Mr. Hannes down there in 15th, who will have to get past that ghosting. Oh, Mr. Hannes is not racing. I think we've got Mr. Hannes, just to confirm, Mr. Hannes and Monty both on the AI, so essentially not racing. We will focus on 1 to 13 here. Unlucky for some, but hopefully not us today, as M1 Righty leads us on lap 2. Followed by Emerge KDs. Then comes Xmas, and Emerge moves through using a DRS not yet enabled. So it will be enabled next time around for our drivers as they come down the start-finish straight. But I expect it to be enabled as they go through between turns 9 and 10 on this lap. So as anticipated, our drivers running very closely together. Xmas got some good early pace, able to stay with their front runners of Emerge and M1 Righty. Liam obviously going a little bit backwards in turn 1, turn 2 as our drivers try and squeeze through there in the early stages of the race. But now settling into this, Goat Ghosty up into 5th. M Dorling slipping behind them, and Jaguar Paw going nicely there now in 7th. They'll have their eye on their rearview mirror for SS7, but I dare say SS7 will be a little bit more cautious as they race Jaguar Paw in the feature race here. Let's bring up the tyres, because strategy is going to play an all-important role. Well, my word, what a rainbow we've got going on. So, Emerge KD is on mediums, M1 Righty on hards. That bodes well for M1. And Xmas on soft. So that explains, I think, to some degree why Xmas is able to race with these front runners as Jaguar Paw goes fastest of anyone. Another driver on soft tyres. Are we going to go 3 wide into turn 1? Whoa, my heart was in my mouth there for a moment. But M1 Righty comes out still in the lead there. Emerge KDs in second. Xmas in third. But those soft tyres will go off much, much quicker than everyone else around them. And Liam trying to find a way through on the Haas. Going the long way around turn 4. Now to looking down the inside of 5. Has to back out of that. And M. Dorling now back through on Ghosty. Actually, Ghosty dropping right back. All of a sudden, they were running in 5th. And so that's promoted Jaguar Paw and M. Dorling and SS7, all the others, back through. So very tight running from all of our drivers here. Inevitable, the odd tap of the rear end, but hopefully all our front wings still intact at this point. But I fear Xmas may come under a challenge from Learmag as this race unfolds and those soft tyres start to give up. But we're in very early stages here. Just starting lap 4 as Emerge KDs and M1 Righty swap the lead, and Xmas decides to go with Emerge. So Xmas up into 2nd place. M1 drops down into 3rd. Remember, M1 Righty here on the hard tyres. And well, this is the craziness of F1 24 at times. M1 Righty is giving us some amazing clips, it's fair to say, but through no fault of their own. Whether or not that was the experience M1 was just experiencing actually on their view of the game, I would love to know. But we're going to be sharing some M1 Righty crazy clips, I think, after today. There's 2 absolute classics. So Emerge from Xmas, from M1 Righty, from Liam Mag, now Jaguar Paw in 5th, M. Dorling in 6th. Jacobo has moved through on their teammate of SS7 and is also now moving up through on M. Dorling. So Jacobo trying to take advantage of those soft tyres in the early stages of this race, moves up into 6th place. M. Dorling and SS7 dropping down into 8th. Then we've got Emil on back to a more traditional hard tyre start for them. They've mixed things up in recent races and started on soft tyres, but it's a hard tyre start for Emil, which we always used to see them on. Emil will be looking to get back into the range of DRS of SS7 in front of them, but don't count out Emil for a very good finish towards the latter stages. We, of course, have a very long way to go here. We're on lap 5 of 33. So our drivers will be thinking about pit stops around about the midway point, except for those soft tyre runners. With the benefit of running in the DRS though for a few more laps, may be able to drag those soft tyre runners a little bit further. The undercut here in Spain is very powerful, so a number of our drivers will look to pit earlier than there's challenges around them to try and grab a bit of track position. But Emil starting to drop back 2 seconds now from SS7, bringing E36 Go and Goat Ghosty with them. So this group of 3 cars starting to fall off the back of the front runners. Everyone though, from Xmas all the way down to SS7, within the range of DRS and gradually swapping places in the process. And we see that happening in real time. So M1 Righty now in 4th, and SS7 moving through on M1 Righty. So I wonder if M1 Righty has had another game moment. Or was that SS7 moving through on M. Dorling? That was SS7 moving through on M. Dorling. So apologies, folks, I just misread the timing screen changes there. So SS7 through on M. Dorling. They're using DRS to stay in touch with the others. Indeed, SS7 back within a second of M1 Righty. And if they can stay there, it keeps 7 or 8 drivers in with a shout. Jacobo, though, has dropped off for big time. So I think some kind of mistake into turn 1 or 2, or perhaps a coming together, has caused an issue for Jacobo there. So they're going to have to work hard once again to get in touch with M. Dorling in front of them. But Jacobo has some pace. They may well be able to get onto the back of the Aston Martin. Emerge KDs is leading the way on lap 6, followed by Liam Mag. Xmas VRX is still in that battle at the front. So Jaguar Paw spun. Thank you, Decivis Jacob H, for updating us in the Twitch chat. So that was a spin for Jaguar Paw, sadly connected with Jacobo, and that's what's pushed them back, and that explains why Jaguar Paw is down there in 11th. So Dave Hommel and Marcel are having a bit of a torrid time there at the back in 12th and 13th. It's looking like a long race for them. Marcel with some good pace in the sprint race as well. We'll look for them to perhaps come back into it. Those hard tyres will run further than you might imagine here in Spain compared to everything else around. And of course, the safety car at some point will definitely mix things up as well. So Jacobo not able to get back on the rear end of M. Dorling at this point, but SS7 and M. Dorling doing a decent job to get back up with M1 Righty, who is allowing them to stay with Xmas, Emerge and Liam Mag. Liam Mag in the lead, but read nothing into that at this stage. Folks, we're not even a third of the way through, and a number of our drivers will follow in this DRS train. As M1 Righty looks to the inside of turn 10, but really I think just to keep close to the Haas in front of them rather than that being a true overtake attempt. And we get back onto the start-finish straight. This group of 6 drivers now starting to try and pull away at least from Jacobo, but Jacobo fighting hard. Ashen is getting close to being back within that 1 second. They're potentially dragging Goat Ghosty with them. Emil is getting through on E36 Goat as well. So Emil, having dropped off a little bit, it's actually coming through. And that's M1 Righty down the inside of the Haas of Xmas VRX. Round turn 3 and then into 3rd place through turn 4. Front wheels of Liam Mag's Ferrari locking up as they head into turn 5. M1 Righty now. Those hard tyres will eventually come to them. That was quite wide from Emerge KDs. Now, we haven't spoken about track limits here today. We did see a couple of those penalties given during the sprint race, but not many. I can expect quite a few more here in the feature race. So the track limits are the white lines you see on the edge of the track. If you get all 4 wheels over the edge of those, and you do that 3 times, the in-game stewards are going to give you a 3-second time penalty. And they're cumulative, so if you do it again 3 times, you'll get another 3-second time penalty. So with our cars running so closely together here, just 1 track limits penalty could be the difference between 1st and 8th. That is how significant these penalties could be here today. So our drivers will be looking to avoid track limits as much as they can. Let's get it. Whilst this train of drivers is settling in now, Xmas has dropped back into 4th. Of course, there I think those soft tyres might start feeling a little bit more painful now. And Xmas now dropping into 5th. So I think the softs are starting to go. M. Dorling up into 4th. Let's get to SS7, who might be shaping for a similar move. So maybe the soft tyres, lap 8, is the switch off point for them. And now we should be with the medium runners as Xmas went very wide. That will be a track limits warning. SS7 down on the inside of the Haas, moves up into 10th place. Sorry, 10th place, that's turn 10, up into 5th place for SS7. But I'm intrigued to see what our soft runners do. Do they hang out those softs for as long as they dare and go on to mediums? Or do they go onto the hards? It's a long way to go on the medium tyres, and we'll see which drivers prefer. But SS7's got some work to do to get back into the range of DRS. That DRS and the battery power so valuable to our drivers here. And SS7 has managed to do it. They're back within that second of M. Dorling. But they've brought Jacobo with them. So Jacobo, their teammate, is going with SS7. So a good recovery after that collision with Jaguar Paul. Jacobo back in the fight here, and the 2 Mercedes now working together. So for those of you just watching along, I will read for you David T's current race summary in the Twitch chat, because I think it's a pretty decent setup for us. So David's assumption of the race right now: M1 is happy to be sitting in 3rd, saving battery and tyres. He's going to go long and use his fresher tyres at the end of the race to give him the best shot of winning. That's who I got my money on, says David T. And I think that's a reasonable assessment right now. I think M1 Righty survived those early laps where they would have been under so much more pressure with those hard tyres warming up. They're right in it now. And they can probably dictate what happens to them, and watch for them to be incredibly fast in the final stages of this race. Oh, and as we've talked, there's the curse of the commentator, David T. As we were talking so highly about M1 Righty, M1 righty spun in turn 1. I dare say some contact there with one of the other drivers, but that has that's pushed M1 all the way back into 6th. I told you I need a twitching motor for commentator's curse, because that's 2 weeks in a row where we've been singing the praises. Firstly, I think it was of M. Dorling last week, and then... Oh no, it was M. Malecki last week, and then M1 righty this week. So M1's got it all to do again. Now, don't put it past them. They have got they have got these hard tyres, and they have got the pace, but now they've got to work super hard to get back to Jakob and SS7 in front of them. Well, that's mixed things up for us. It's ruined M1 righty's strategy to a certain degree, and they were sitting pretty there for some time, but it's now the medium runners leading the way. Jacobo working with their teammate of SS7, helping to keep them in the fight here and drag those soft tyres as far as they can. It looks like Emerge is going to move into the lead of this race. Now Liam's fighting that through turn 1. But Emerge has the inside of 3, so Emerge should hold on to the lead of this race now, or should take the lead of this race as we go into turn 4. But Liam is fighting this. We have wheel to wheel all the way from turn 2 through turn 4. We're going to keep this going into turn 5. No, Emerge KD thinks better of it. So good fighting between the RB and the Ferrari there. That's, of course, allowing M. Dorling just to sit there. Just to sit there and see what's happening. SS7's quite happy being there. So is Jacobo. M1 righty's already taken a second out of these drivers in front of them as they recover from their spin in turn 1. We've got a couple of track limit warnings out there. So Emil and E36 go. So I told you they would start to come in as this race unfolds. We had a yellow flag. That's Marcel Linke. Sadly, we have lost Marcel from this race. So that is Marcel DNFing in the game. We shouldn't get a safety car for that, but that's one Red Bull sadly gone from this race, and Emil, the last remaining Red Bull, to try and see out the remainder of this Grand Prix here from Spain with the G-Force Racing Elite League. Liam Mag is leading the way after winning the sprint race just about half an hour or so ago. But they've got Emerge KDs, M. Dorling, SS7, Jakob O, and the recovering M1 righty, who's also bringing Ghosty into play. So a number of our drivers actually working together here, whether knowingly, intentionally or unintentionally. We once again have a 7-way fight for the lead of this race. And I've got to say, the hard runner of M1 righty still looks in the box seat, barring a safety car at this point. So M1 back into the fight here, albeit in 6th, but it's only the difference of DRS, essentially. And if they want to, they can start making the way through. And certainly, Jacobo has got to be vulnerable here. Why don't we ride on board with M1 righty? Riding on board with M1 righty this evening has been very eventful anyway, so we should spend more time here anyway. So we head down towards turn 1 once again. M1 does indeed have DRS. It's got very close up front in the front 5, and M1 licking their lips as they come around turn 3. They're back in the fight here. Ghost is right behind them, of course, just by half a second. Will this allow Emil in the Red Bull to perhaps close in with this fighting amongst the front 7? Emil, of course, on those hard tyres, sadly for them, has picked up a track limits penalty, but is still not out of something pretty decent here. So does M1 look to make a move on Jacobo at some point in the next lap or two? Jacobo's done pretty well. I don't think Decivest will share this with us in the Twitch chat, but I'd love to know where those soft tyres are on, because they've pretty much taken those soft tyres nearly halfway through this race, and they're still very competitive with their teammate and everyone else around them. So Jacobo is doing exceptionally well. As we get our first person to pit, Liam Mag is in. Decivest, thank you, Decivest. So that's 65% for Jacobo. So hanging on reasonably nicely. won't want to risk a puncture and destroy all their hard work, as we get some wonderful different experiences from following M1 Righty once again, as they appear to just disappear off track and then return once again. M1 has an interesting connection today, that's for sure. Here's Goat Ghosty making their way through. Don't count Goat out from a strong finishing position here as well. Goat, I know, had designs on the GFR Championship. They were leading in Season 4 by a handsome margin until Jakob H stormed through, and with the absence of Goat Ghosty for a few races and a change of gear for Goat Ghosty, Jakob H took full advantage of that. Jakob H crewing for Jakobo, it would seem, this evening, rather than being out on track. But we look forward to having Jakob Plotska back with us, racing on track in the not too distant future. M Dorling now up into second as a result of Liam Mag pitting. Liam went on to brand new hard tyres. We see more pit stops happening, so Jacobo has finally had enough of those soft tyres, as a number of our cars now lapping the ghosting Monty. M Dorling in the lead of this race now, with the Merge KDs and Jacobo pitting on lap 16. New mediums for Jacobo, new hard tyres for Emerge KDs. This is going to be interesting, folks. This is going to be interesting. What is going to be the better tyre? We've still got half a race left to go here. Running in the DRS will certainly protect fuel loads and perhaps to some extent tyres for many of our drivers here. But I think these remaining drivers out on track are going to take these through to a soft tyre window. So Jakob H predicting to be back after Imola. So, okay, one more round without you, Jakob H, and we look forward to having you back on the track. You may have some catching up to do, though. It's going to be fair to say. But M Dorling leads the way, on track at least, on lap 16, followed by SS7. M1 Righty's there, remember, on those hard tyres. Let's see if M1 looks to take advantage now and move through and perhaps lead this race. Certainly these medium tyres will be going off in the near future, but SS7 takes the lead this race, drags M1 Righty with them. And you're right, absolutely right, David T. If M1 does get into the lead of this race, everyone will just try and become, in your words, David T., a trailer, and will do their best to stick with M1, and then it's anyone's guess as who's going to win here. M1 Righty still has some decent pace. Jaguar Paw sets the fastest lap of the race on brand new medium tyres. A 1:14.188 will be in the 1:13s before this race is out, and potentially 1:12s as well. But SS7 going well here, now leading this race on lap 17. M Dorling having lost the lead with the disadvantage of no DRS, but they're still within range here, as is Goat Ghosty. Then we get the nearly 5 second gap back to Emil and E36 Goat. They're our only drivers yet to pit. Oh, I should say Dave Hommel down there running in 11th is still running. And Dave, if you are still running, hang on. Only one more DNF in front of you and you could be on for some points. So M1 Righty now takes the lead of this race. Will be interesting to see if those other drivers challenge. M1 Righty for the lead, or they just happy to be dragged around as an Alpine trailer. We'll see. No penalties for any of these drivers out front. Indeed, it's only Emil with any track limit warnings. We're going to watch the times for Liam Mag. So Liam was our race leader at the time they pitted, was certainly running at the front of this group of cars. They were the first to blink. Liam went on to brand new hard tyres. Their last lap time was a 1:16.256, if I'm looking at my timing screen correctly, if I'm looking at the right Ferrari. Oh no, I was not. A 1:15.635 was their last time around for Liam Mag. Whereas the front runners are also doing 1:15.5s for M1 Righty and SS7 last time round. So Liam not faster at this point. And of course, well, let's just get down to Liam. Do they have the benefit of DRS from anyone? No, they don't. So Liam is actually dragging Jacobo and Emerge KDs with him. So Liam's having to do all the hard work, has no DRS, and that's slowing them down a little bit as they go. And the front runners are pretty much matching Liam for lap, as we've got wheel-to-wheel action between Liam and Emerge KDs into turn one. But M1 Righty did a 1:14.866 last lap, and Liam did a 1:14.896. So literally 300ths of a second in it. So Liam needs to go a little bit faster than this, and we'll have to work with Emerge and Jakob here to get some time aboard. Or I think Jakob got on the power a little bit too early coming out of turn 5, managed to grab hold of that Mercedes and retains 6th place on track. They're 12.2 seconds back from Emil, who's running in 5th. M1 Righty leads the way though now. M Dorling is out of the range of DRS, so M1 starting to pull away from the medium runners. M Dorling SS7 switching places also. And that's it. Is that M Dorling getting into the pits or no? So that's it. That's M Dorling going slightly backwards, but only as the result of overtakes from Goat Ghosty and SS7 with the benefit of DRS. So we're on lap 20 of 33. We are going to get into the business end of this race here. Round 8 of the GeForce Racing Elite League, Season 5. Emerge KD's well out front in the championship right now. But it's anyone's race here in Spain. Liam Mag picking up maximum points in the sprint race last time. But right now it's M1 Righty looking very strong. They're about, a quick maths, about 18 seconds away from Jacobo and Liam Mag here. So they will lose the lead of this race when they pit. But it's a very short pit lane here in Spain. So around about 20 seconds lap time lost. A safety car for M1 Righty would be an absolute godsend right now for them and for SS7, as we see Goat Ghosty and M Dorling dive into the pits. Sorry, that was SS7 and M Dorling diving into the pits. Goat Ghosty stays out there on their own in second, 2 seconds back from M1 Righty. So M Dorling, SS7 onto brand new soft tyres. They're going to come out just behind this group of Jacobo, Liam Mag, Emerge KDs, who are swapping places here as they do their best to chase down the cars in front of them. SS7, M Dorling are going to have some good pace and will need to take those soft tyres 12 laps. Now we saw with Jacobo that those soft tyres, if well looked after, can go that distance. That should not be a problem for SS7 and M Dorling, although they'll be feeling a little bit of pain towards the end. David D predicting that M1 Righty will need to overtake 3 cars to win this race, but they should have the pace to do it, and that's what their pace would indicate, it would seem, today. So M1 still with some good pace, 1:15.746 for them, but the Ferrari of Liam Mag set a 1:14.605, so a second a lap quicker now for Liam Mag and Emerge KDs. And SS7 M Dorling will be matching, if not beating, those times, as M Dorling sets a purple sector 2 on those brand new soft tyres. So there's so much more grip at this stage, and SS7 M Dorling will want to take full advantage of that grip at this stage of the race. Emil comes into the pits, as does Ghosty, and now comes M1 Righty. So M1 Righty onto brand new medium tyres, and they have come out just behind Liam Mag, it would seem, but in front, crucially, of SS7 and M Dorling. So that's a great pit stop from M1 Righty. They managed to put just enough distance between them and SS7, so they haven't got to get past SS7. And David T, your prediction was bang on. M1 Righty's got to overtake Emerge KDs, Liam Mag and Jakob O, and they've got 2.5 seconds to close down and 11 more laps to do just that. But SS7 and M Dorling going to be right in the mix here. SS7 in the range of DRS on M1 Righty, and M Dorling behind SS7 in the Aston Martin. Don't count out Ghosty either. They went on to brand new hard tyres. Perhaps left it a little late for hard tyres, but hard tyres clearly a good tyre around here. We're giving good pace to M1 Righty. So in the right hands, and Ghosty knows how to handle a car here, that's for sure. Don't count them out as the fastest laps start to tumble. M Dorling with a 113.250 beating the 113.688. As SS7 and M Dorling are trying to find a way through on M1 Righty. Now M1 Righty hasn't fought that too hard. Not yet, at least, as Ghosty picks up a 3-second time penalty. And M1 Righty just wants to be in with a shout here. Maybe they'll let the soft tyre runners go after Emerge KD's Jacobo and Liam Mag and let them drag the Alpine with them. That's not a bad strategy either. So 1.5 seconds between SS7 and Emerge KDs. We are going to have a 6-way battle for the lead of this race and victory here in Spain. Emerge KDs is looking for another strong points haul, but there's a few drivers looking to take advantage of the absence of Jakob H and a few others here to move their way up the championship standings. There's also some good points available in the Constructors' Championship, not least for Mercedes and RB, who are fighting it out there. As M1 Righty comes through on M Dorling and SS7. SS7 gets very close to the rear end of M Dorling. Be careful there, SS7. We know what happened with Jaguar. Jaguar, actually, we mentioned them. They're running down there in 10th. So not the race that they had hoped for, and perhaps not the race day they had hoped for either. It's not gone quite to plan for the Williams driver here, but they are still running there in the last points paying position. M1 Righty now working with M Dorling and SS7. We get on to the rear end of it, Emerge KDs, and they are going to be in the range of DRS now. So they're just going to be coming through turn 9. They're probably just outside the detection point, but by the end of the next few corners, they are going to be within the DRS train here of the front three. Remember, Liam and Emerge on hard tyres, Jacobo on medium tyres, and we saw not much pace differential between those. The wild cards here, M Dorling and SS7, how hard are they going to push? They've got to go for it. They've got to go for it. If you're going to go for the soft tyre strategy, you need to be aggressive with it. So watch for M Dorling and SS7. They could be the wild cards that really have a significant influence on the outcome of this race. I really can't call it. I really can't call it. With another 8 laps after this one to go, Liam Mag is now in the lead of this race, looking strong. Emerge KDs has gone with him. Jacobo now back into third. Liam and Emerge KDs side by side once again. This time through turn 5. We're going to try the same through turn 7. The Merge drops back in, but you can see how this is helping all our drivers to bunch up. M1 Righty now into 4th place. Will M1 now move through on Jacobo? SS7 and M Dorling switching places through turn 10. I don't know where to look next, folks, but it's a cracking battle between 6 brilliant drivers here in G-Force Racing. Liam Mag would desperately like to get away. They'd love something to happen behind them right now, but that's not going to happen as they try to break the slipstream from the RB, but Emerge KDs goes with them and indeed goes round the outside of them. Jacobo looks to follow but gets boxed in by the Ferrari and the RB. M1 Righty sat there in 4th. SS7 in 5th and Dorling now in 6th. Ghosty gradually trying to close in on this group of cars. Jacobo looks for a way through on Liam Mag, as does M1 Righty, and M1 Righty is through. Very opportunist move by the Alpine driver. M1 up into 3rd now. Oh, and Jacobo loses it under traction coming out of turn 5. On board with Jacobo, and that's an unfortunate mistake. They've got to do it all again, get back in that front running pack. My apologies to all the other drivers we've not spent much time with today. That's Emil, Xmas, Jaguar, E36 Co and Dave Hommel. But it's all been happening at front of this race, and plenty that has kept us occupied, and Jacobo hoping to get back into this battle. So SS7 is allowing, and my thanks to Decibis for the Twitch updates as well. But SS7 has basically allowed or helped Jacobo to get back on to this front running group. So Decibis believes Jacobo has some pace here. They've just got to put it to use, and they are stuck between the hard runners as Ghosty picks up another track limits penalty for them. M. Dorling trying to find a way around the outside of M1 Ricey. And Jacobo takes advantage of that and goes down the inside of M. Dorling. M. Dorling now has the inside of turn 5. Jacobo slots back in behind the Aston. So it's SS7, I should say, trying to find a way through on M. Dorling. That really could go absolutely any direction from here. Lap 27 of 33. We'll count them down lap by lap as we get a new leader lap by lap. Liam Maggie is holding on to this lead, but Emerged KDs will just be sitting there until they start getting pressurised. And safety car, oh my word, safety car. Everyone in for soft tyres. Everyone in for soft tyres. Or who is going to stay out there? Jeopardy for our drivers. Our drivers hanging back and SS7 doing just that. Who is going to pit? Is anyone going to pit? SS7 does pit. Liam Mag pits. KD's pits. M. Dilling, SS7, Jacobo. Everyone blinks. Everyone blinks. Will Ghosty do the same? No, Goat stays out. Track position for Ghosty. So that safety car, I think, is for Dave Hommel. That is my only thought there. Is I couldn't... Oh, no. No, I don't know who that safety car is for. Is it that we have a yellow dot there? That would be... But I'm trying to work it out, folks. If you have a better idea than me, I think it might be Hommel, but there was someone has caused that safety car. We cannot tell who. We know we've lost ABOPD, Mr. Hannes. They were already running on the AI, so it cannot be them. Don't think it was E36 Scope, but I could be wrong. I think it was Dave Hommel on the basis that they were last in to the pit lane here. Oh, it was VRX, so very honest of you, VRX. Thank you for letting us know. So it was VRX, lost a front wing. That's brought out the safety car. And we are going to have a 2, maybe 3 lap shootout, maybe 4 if we're lucky, for victory here. And Ghosty has decided to mix things up. They're going to be the cork in the bottle. And Hommel, my apologies for suggesting it was you that caused the safety car who stopped by the Twitch chat. It was. We're just trying to work out who it was, but my thanks to Xmas VRX for letting us know that it was them. But my word, it's going to give us a grandstand finish to what has been a pretty epic race day here with the GeForce Racing League. This is one to watch back, folks. We have had pretty much everything. We've had all the overtakes you could wish for. We've had some brilliant wheel-to-wheel racing, and to top it all off, we had M1 Ricey flying literally through the air in their Alpine. So it's all happened here today. So Ghosty has stayed out, as you rightly say, David T, and I'm intrigued to see how this plays out for Goat. They are looking to be the disruptor here when we get back under racing conditions. I would normally go into a driver's garage in a safety car, but I think we're at a point in the race where it's probably pretty tense in those cockpits right now, and I do not want to be the cause of any distractions. So we will not disturb any of our drivers by going into VC with them. We'll let them focus on keeping their tyres warm and planning out how they execute the final laps of this race. Now, I do hope when I go to watch this in the real world in a few weeks' time, the race is just as exciting as we've had here with GeForce Racing League. If you've been watching along with us here today on M1 Racing, thank you ever so much for stopping by. If you're not a follower, please do hit the follow button here, either here or on my YouTube channel. It's great to have you spend some time with us on a Wednesday, and the safety car is coming in this lap. So a 4-lap shootout. Liam looked to get very close to the rear end of Goat Ghosty, but hopefully that wasn't damage caused to Liam's car. Sometimes the game can show us that, but it doesn't actually happen in practice. So hopefully Liam is okay. The Goat is going to lead us away. Now the question is, when do they go? Safety car is peeling into the pit lane. Goat Ghosty weaving side to side. Now they go. And they drag everybody with them. Liam Mag will try and get past at the earliest possible opportunity. Goat Ghosty defends for their life, but they don't want to hold up their teammate of Emerge KDs. They'll have to let them through. And let's go off into the barriers. And we've got Goat Ghosty in the barriers on the exit of turn 1. We won't get a safety car now, I don't think. So we'll be racing normally, I think, with the yellow flag continuing to wave as Goat Ghosty looks to be moving. Again, Liam Mag into the lead of this race. Everyone on brand new soft tyres for the final stages here. With lap 30 of 33. 3 more laps to go. Everyone settle back in now for an absolute cracker of a finish here. Liam Mag from Emerge KDs following M1 Righty, SS7, M Dorling, Emil now back in. Jacobo's there. Jaguar Paul right back in with it now. Xmas right back into it. E36 Goat cannot believe their luck. Nor can Dave Hommel, and Goat Ghosty now back there in 12th. So everybody in with a shout of some very good points. Sadly for Emil, it's probably going to hurt them the most with that penalty, and also E36 Goat as well. But everyone else looking good for some major points here. So we start lap 31. DRS now enabled. Liam Mag continues to bring Emerge KDs and M1 Righty. We're going to have fireworks here in the last few corners. No one willing to challenge Liam Mag, and this is the strategy now. Liam Mag's got to do all the hard work. Punching a hole in the air. 10-second penalty for Goat Ghosty, but I think Goat is going to retire from the game here. And misjudged that, I suppose, from a strategy perspective, but why not? It potentially could have worked out to their advantage and that of their teammate. In the end, it's only going to be Emerge KDs who will finish for RB here today. We do, and that yellow flag is just for Goat Ghosty retiring in the pit lane. That now clears, so we go back under normal racing conditions. Emerge has a look, shapes for a move into turn 10, tucks back in behind. Who's going to start making moves up through the field here? So Goat Ghosty gives us their strategy in the Twitch chat. Slowing Liam up was the plan, but ending up in the wall on the exit of turn 1 was not. So Emerge now does make the move, and M1 Righty goes the other way around. So the pincer movement from RB and the Alpine hasn't quite worked out, and Liam in the end comes through on all of that. So, but it means we're going to go possibly 3 wide into turn 4, 5 wide. Pick your poison here, folks, because M Dorling's seen an opportunity to get through on a double champion of M1 Righty. They're going round the long way of turn 5. They'll have the faster exit for sure. M1 Righty ghosting as the game plays further games with the Alpine. So M Dorling doing their best to try and get through the ghosted M1 Righty, and it looks as though they may have done it. Now we're going to go into turn 10 as our drivers fight for track position here on the penultimate lap. Liam Mag drops back down into second place here. M Dorling trying to find a way through. Racecraft is going to be ever so important. Our drivers doing their best to look after each other here, but they're also fighting for points and the race win. Emerge KD's in the lead, but will drag everyone down the start-finish straight. Is Emerge going to lose 2 places here to Liam and M Dorling? They've certainly lost 1. They're going to lose the second one. M Dorling, does SS7 try to go around the outside? They looked for it. Didn't work out for SS7. M1 Righty is in 4th now. SS7 drops back into 5th. Jakob O in 6th. We lose. It was another sideways car of Zat Hommel once again. We can't really drop back too far down. That was possibly Dave Hommel. Let's get back up to the front. We've got only a handful of corners left to go, and it looks like Liam Mag has stolen a march on Emerge as E36 Goat picks up a 3-second time penalty. M1 Righty is up through into 3rd, SS7 into 4th. It was M Dorling going backwards now, all the way down there into 9th. That's left that gap that we can see between Liam Mag and Emerge KDs. It looks like Liam Mag is going to make it 2 races from 2 here in Spain. Emerge KDs is under all sorts of pressure from M1 Righty. Then SS7 is doing their best to hold on to 4th place. But Liam Mag wins a 2nd time here in Spain. Emerge KDs in 2nd. M1 Righty in 3rd. SS7 in 4th. We're going to pick up the final classifications in a moment. And I think Liam Mag picked up fastest lap of the race on the final lap as well with a 1:13.217. So maximum points here for Liam Mag. Congratulations, Liam, for another splendid victory here in Spain. But my huge thanks to all the drivers from GeForce Racing for one of the most epic sprint rounds we have had for some time. Those sprints usually give us some good racing, but I didn't know where to look on that one. So many drivers in with a shout of both a podium and some strong points and even victory. But it was Liam Mag to take the victory here, both in the sprint and the feature race. A great day for Ferrari. And that's what we see on the screen here. It's the results of the 2 races combined, and Liam couldn't get any more points than that. 34 for them. Not a bad day in the end for Emerge KDs. 2 point scoring positions, 2nd for them in the feature race. M1 Righty in the end picks up 15 in the feature race. 21 is their total. Jacobo, not a bad day at the office for Mercedes. 17 points for Jacobo and 12 for SS7. 9 for Jaguar Poor on the day. M Dorling picks up 7. Xmas picks up 6 for their last minute appearance. And Marcel with 4. E36 Goat with 2, as does Dave Hommel, and Emil with 1. Well, pick the bones out of that, folks. David T, I think you're right. The FIA could be a little bit busy this week and inevitable with such close racing between so many of our drivers. Contact was probably almost inevitable, but it certainly gave us some pretty epic battles here with the GeForce Racing League. What that will mean to our driver standings is that Liam Mag is going to leapfrog a whole bunch of drivers here. Very strong drive from them. And we'll see where everyone else lands up when we revisit next week. Now, I've got Xmas VRX saying come and say hi in the Haas Team Garage. So why not? I'm always up for speaking to some drivers. So let me go and chat to VRX. We'll head over to the Haas Garage now. Ah, VRX. Whoa. Hey, how you doing?
Hello. I'm alright. How are you?
I'm very good. I'm very well. So a cameo appearance from you, turning up for the for the feature race. It looked to be going very well for you at the start on those soft tyres, but did they give up and you were just gradually drifting back into the pack behind?
Yeah. So like by lap 5, well, soft started to fall off around lap 4 or 5, and then I just lost all focus. My mic kept bugging out.
And then cause of the safety car at the end of the race, which in a way I thank you for because it gave us quite an epic end to the race, but not what you intended. Was that just a mistake?
Yeah, I spun at the corner, the second corner after sector 1. Just completely lost it.
Oh, man. Well, I'm glad you stopped by, and thank you for saying hi to me on the stream as well. It was looking like a very strong drive for you today, and there was some real pace, but we look forward to seeing you next time out, hopefully. All right, have a good day. See ya. So that was VRX driving for Haas. I've got my good friend E36 Goat in the McLaren garage, I thought I'd stop by. E36, how you doing, my friend?
Yeah, not too bad. How are you?
I'm okay. How was Spain for you?
Better than expected.
Well, at one point, your qualifying for the feature was very good. Was the rain suiting you?
The rain always suits me on this game, just not the dry.
Well, we didn't spend much time with you on the stream today, but we were keeping a close eye on your progress. So thanks for racing today. Are you going to be back next time out?
I sure will be.
All right. Thanks, Ben. Great to talk to you as always. Catch up with you next time.
Cheers, Mark.
Yeah. And one last garage for us to stop by, and that is, of course, Team RB, who have had for one driver in particular, it's been a very good day at the office, but perhaps not quite as good as you were hoping for in Merge. How do you feel that those two races went for you?
The sprint there, I was just trying to hold on because I knew my pace wasn't there. The race went surprisingly well, but I'm 90% sure I got a penalty coming my way because I had an incident with M1 into turn 1. He didn't lose too much ground, but I think if I didn't do that, he had a chance for a win. So nothing personal, but if I take the penalty, I take the penalty. I also had an incident with M. Dorling. He fell down to P9, but he said he knows I'm a decent lad and it wasn't intentional. So the skin of my teeth, he said he's not going to report me, which I appreciate a lot. Other than that, yeah, it was good. When me and Liam were on the hards, I was trying to help him by defending M1 and the two Mercedes who were on a lot better tyres than the hards, I'd say. But overall, I think it was a good race, yeah.
And I think contact in that race was almost inevitable, given that you were all so close together, particularly at the end. But it gave us a great spectacle, so I thank you for that. And again, not a bad points haul. I think you're going to stretch your lead at the top of the championship, so not a bad day all in all, one way or another. I must come to your teammate though, Ghosty. So thank you for stopping by the Twitch channel and give us an update to what happened. I guess that was the plan. Try and hold up everyone else around and let your teammate through. But was it contact through turn 1 and that was the end of your race?
It was partially my mistake, and I didn't expect Liam to cover off the apex so harshly, and it just unsettled my car, and I was in a wall. It's a racing incident. There's nothing I could really do. I should have expected it anyway, being on hards and everyone else on fresh softs. But I was really just trying to help emerge the best way possible. But I didn't expect it to go like that.
Yeah, unfortunately, we did think. Well, we knew you were going to be the cork in the bottle on those hard tyres, but in the end, we never really saw that. We never really saw that play out. But of course, you only came into the game, into the lobby at the last minute. How's Spain as a track for you generally? Was this the first one, if I remember, you tried with no line and wheel?
This was the first one I tried with no line and wheel, and that went as bad as you can expect. And this time coming around to it, I saw it was wet, and I was dreading it because I've never done Spain on wet, especially no line. And I'm not really experienced with Spain, but to qualify so high, even though I was like a second off M1's time, which is an incredible time, pretty much the same track conditions as he was right behind me. So yeah, to qualify so high, to be up there for a fight and just have a couple mistakes ruin it, is very unfortunate.
Well, congratulations both of you though on giving us some excellent racing and emerged particularly for more points in the bag. I think it's becoming a two-way fight between you guys and Mercedes, I think, for the Constructors' Championship. There might be a couple of others to come up on the rails, but it's looking good for the final stages of the season. So thank you for that. Thanks for talking to me as always. And I look forward to speaking to you both next week, hopefully.
Yeah, speak to you next week.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers.
So that's Team RB. Not a bad day for them. We've got M1 Righty in the Twitch chat. It was great to watch, M1. Thank you for participating in that and contributing to it. I dare say it was quite an eventful race. I do encourage you to watch the stream back because we caught many of your crazy stream moments. We've got an Alpine flying through the air amongst many other interesting clips to pull out related to M1 Righty. But it looked like a pretty eventful race for you, and thanks for stopping by and saying hi here in the Twitch chat as well. All right, so that's the end, would you believe, of round 8. I cannot believe we've been going for 2 hours, folks. For a Spain race, which usually runs pretty quick, we've had so much to speak about. These last couple of hours has absolutely flown by. So next week, well, if it's anything like this week, you've got to be with us for Imola, right? Sprint round again, this time in Italy, near the home of Ferrari. Liam Mag will want to put on a good performance then. If Hommel is driving for Ferrari next week, it could be a very good day for Ferrari. RB in with a shout of extending their lead of the championship. We sadly won't have Jakob Lotska back with us next week. But there will be others looking to make their way further up the Drivers' Championship and try and put some pressure on those around them. Do come and join me next week for that one. My thanks once again to all the drivers for giving us an excellent race, for everyone watching on the Twitch stream and commentating in the Twitch chat as we've gone along, keeping me informed of the stuff that I've missed. Really do appreciate it. I will say goodbye and I'll see you next week in Italy for round 9 of the G-Force Racing League. Until then, have a great week ahead and we'll speak to you very, very soon. Bye for now.